morning.
Hi, good morning.
You are such a celebrity in Asia. You are like the expert of the Chinese astrology.
Thank
so
you.
Can you tell us a bit more about how did you come into Chinese astrology?
Right, I think this is really an affinity. So since young, when I was like 12 years old, my mom actually introduced like a family friend to us, and he's a Feng Shui Master. He said that, okay, come, let me have a look at your date of birth. And he was just looking at my chart and he said, oh, you need to go into real estate and Feng Shui consultation. And I'm like, I'm 12 years old, like, how do we do that? So from there, I studied real estate, and 10 years into real estate, make a little bit of money, and then I come out to like give talks and stuff, pertaining to Feng Shui and Chinese astrology.
So can you tell us a bit more, what is the definition of Chinese astrology?
Right, so Chinese astrology, the base is actually based on this metaphysical calendar, which our ancient Chinese, originate probably 5,000 years ago. So the brilliant Chinese, they actually, list out all the day which encompass with a certain element attached to it. So every day actually it changes, and this element, it will affect our life in terms of probably because our date of birth will be the pivot point of the people around us, how are we going to encounter stuff, how well do we gel with each other, all based on our birth the date that we are born in. So wood element, so based on this 5 element, wood itself, we can think it as like a tree, like a beautiful tree. If somebody is born in spring, the wood element would be like the most prosperous, like the strongest.
So they're quite creative people.
So they are very grounded people, very disciplined people, super hardworking, and very, very proactive. So earth element, so we can, think about earth element from the angle of like literally the mother earth, or the mountain, or the rice paddy field.
Okay.
Yes, earth people, they are pretty much very magnanimous, because, and their tolerance level, are extremely high.
Right, they accept everything.
Yes, right.
Okay.
So like for example, the soil, we can step on them.
Okay.
We can grow crops on them. Like the mountain itself, it is actually an element of stability. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and it can also means like, if let's say we talk about the weaknesses, not exactly weaknesses, but their personality traits that they can be a little bit more fixated, because the mountain don't move,
They're less flexible.
Yes, right, less flexible. But whenever you have problems,
you can
the
count
mountain,
on them.
you can counter them because the mountain don't move. Rain or shine, good days, bad days, they're always there.
The fire.
Yes.
So is it good to have fire in his life, or
So
it's very dangerous?
Fire is like, having the sun,
Okay.
So when we have sun, we have sunshine, vitality, we have growth, So these people with all this fire element, they are basically like leaders. They have got this very passionate personality in them that they always make things happen, and they're always ahead of people. So what is the downside of fire is that
can get burned.
Yes, exactly. So they can be like, if let's say things don't get onto their way, then they can get a little bit more frustrated. Correct.
So another very interesting element is the water.
Yes.
So tell us
So
a bit
water,
more. So important.
Exactly. We usually derive the personality from, what do you think of water would be like? Flexible.
Yeah.
It takes on any shape, They are ultra witty, so they can
Ultra witty.
Yes. Why? Because they can infiltrate into basically anything. So these people, they are super intelligent, so they are the problem solvers.
Okay.
They are usually the strategies or the mind behind like the corporations. The downside will be like they are probably, because they flow everywhere, so they want to try everything.
Okay.
So sometimes they can get lost in terms of probably like decision making, but that would depend on how much percentage of water do we have in our chart.
So the last element, metal.
Right. So metal itself, we can think about it as like really like a steel bar.
Okay.
So they can be a little bit colder, but they're full of resilience. They can actually, be weapons, guns, to attack. So these people, they have got super duper strong personality. They can be a little bit colder.
Okay.
So the words that they say can be pretty blunt and straight to the point, very sharp. So So just now we covered like, the overall, mechanism of this bazi. So basically 5 elements, we actually further categorize them into the yin and yang. So basically in Chinese astrology, there is a yang wood, there is a yin wood, there's a yang fire, yin fire, etc. So yang wood, what are the symbols that can represent a yang wood? Is basically like a huge tree in a jungle. So these tree trunks, they take years, millions of years to actually, grow to the size of, their existing shape. So how do they start? They start from the ground. So they are super, grounded. And usually if a leader of a young wood personality, they are the ones that they want to know every aspect of the company. So they are the macro people. So usually if let's say we talk about general term, young people usually are the macro and yin would be micro.
And is there a feminine and masculine element into yin and yang also?
Yes. So for example, wood itself, there is a yin wood. So what can symbolize a yin wood is flowers. So flowers are beautiful, and it takes like, they are very creative. A lot of designers, they are actually a yin wood element, so they are super meticulous. They pay attention to details like Coco Chanel.
She was a yin wood.
Yes. So the yang would need a yin and the yin would need a yang. So usually, it is actually a balance, that make things work. Yeah.
Always.
Yes, exactly.
Balance, harmony.
Exactly.
Let's give another example: the yin fire versus the yang fire.
Right. So how do the symbols for yang fire will be the sun? And the yin fire will be the candle.
Candles.
Right, candles. Yes, right. And so whenever the sun rises, wow, people feel this vitality. People can see directions. So young fire personality are usually super passionate. They're the leaders. They make things happen. And yin fire will be like candle. So they operate in a more intimate environment. So usually yin people, in let's say like a social aspect, they are usually quieter. So they are observers. So they observe. So yin fire give warmth. So if we put a yin fire out in the sun, probably we don't see the significance of a candle under the sun. But in a dark room, you see it. So these yin people, they are usually, when you feel a little bit more down, they are the light, in the darkness. So yin will be a little bit more subtle.
Very clear.
Right.
What about the yin water?
The yin water, right. So like yang water, what is the symbol to represent that? Would be like tsunami, ocean, like the sea. So they are vast, so they represent like big pictures, big ideas, and they are super energetic to make it happen. The other symbol for yin water will be like a droplet. A little dew, They share similar personality, which is flexibility, but the way they execute stuff will be very much different. So young water will be a little bit louder, and so usually they're the problem solver, and because they are so intelligent. So yin water would be, they take form of people characteristics. So a lot of actors, they are actually yin water.
Very good actor because they can mimic others,
like the emotions, so they are like fantastic actors and actresses. The other element will be like metal. So young metal, the symbol will be like a metal structure of a building. So it's so hard to...
So solid.
Yes, exactly. They're very solid. So usually like judges, lawyers, they will possess, this metallic characteristic, which is super strong. So the yin metal, they take form of jewelry. Like diamonds, So they show their resilience in a different manner. So they are quieter, so they are not like the fighters and stuff, but when you put them to test, like a metal bracelet don't break so easily. A metal, like a diamond, you don't break. So these people are very, very detailed people. They are pretty strong in their field, but in a more subtle way. But they can create destructions as well. So it is like a metal blade. So when they want to execute stuff, straight to the point.
Interesting.
Right.
And the last one?
The last one will be Earth. Right. So Earth is like so if let's say we talk about like the macro picture, it will be the mountain. Yeah. So like just now we touched on, like mountains itself, super dependable, you know, fixated, they are always there.
Okay.
You know, so people will confide secrets into an earth person, you know, because they will be able to absorb and try to find you solution as well.
Okay.
Because they are very grounded, you know. So like politicians, a lot of politicians, they are actually of the earth personality.
The young earth.
The young earth, yeah, like our previous prime minister, which is Mr. Goh Chok Tong, you know, so they are earth element, and Obama is actually earth element, but he is the yin earth.
Okay,
yeah, that is the yin earth, right? And so this earth personality, because they are problem solvers, you know, so maybe they can be the chief operation officer.
Ah, okay.
Yeah, so they can operate
COO position.
Yes, like a COO position, you know, that, you know, whenever there's problems, they encounter it and they try to solve it.
Okay.
Yeah, so usually they're the problem solvers.
Okay.
So the 12 zodiac sign actually is the earthly branches. What does that mean? That means it's our inner feelings.
Okay.
And these earthly branches, for example, it is categorized into 4 seasons, and in between there's changing seasons, and this actually is represented by the animal sign. So basically the animals are just basically like a algebra to represent wood, fire, water, matter, or earth. Okay. So now the zodiac sign is actually the year. Yeah, but this animal can also appear in other places, which is the earthly branches. It can appear on the month, it can appear on the day, it can appear on the hour. So all this element, all this zodiac sign actually have got very deep meaning to it. So like the representative of dog, or this is just purely a name to it. Yeah, right. So that's why like every year there will be a difference, and this zodiac sign would have an impact in our life. So this year we have presence of a lot of water and wood. So who do you think would benefit, you know, from this presence of this element? You know, it will be the wood people, because water nourish the wood personality, and the wood tiger would supplement the wood people. So if let's say you are born in a day of a wood element, this year is fantastic for you.
Let's get into concrete examples of different people getting together, making money together, or splitting apart because their characters are too opposite.
Right. So one of the very good example, I feel that they make money together, where the 2 elements complement each other, is David Beckham and Victoria Beckham.
Absolutely.
So these people, they are the earth sign. They are the earth element. Both. Yeah. So actually, when earth and earth comes together, they are friends. So David Beckham, what rules him is actually a young metal monkey, and Victoria Beckham, what rules her day master is actually a yin water rat. And this monkey and rat, in the Chinese astrology, they form a 3 harmonious match to become water, and water nourishes the earth. So when they come together, they just flourish.
Super interesting. So a counter-example, someone would clash.
So another example would be probably the very famous controversy, which is by Bill Clinton, Hillary Clinton, and Monica Lewinsky. So Bill Clinton, he's actually a yin wood, and beneath him is actually a yin cow earth. You know, yin earth cow. So more, you know, like softer. So Hillary Clinton is earth. So they are, in the Chinese astrology, they mix actually the real husband and wife element. You know, like a yin wood and a yang mountain. So the yin and yang matches very well. You know, so what is the element that can destroy them, that can chop them down, that can exhaust their energy?
The metal.
Fantastic, you got it right. So Monica Lewinsky is actually a metal element, and it's a young metal, and the zodiac sign is a young metal monkey. So it's like a chopper. So this chopper can chop the plant down. And where does this metal come from? Comes from Mother Earth. You know, and so her presence chopped Bill Clinton, and her presence drained the energy of you know, Hillary Clinton.
Another couple I really like Angelina Jolie and Brad Pitt. They are so fantastic, but why they didn't last? It's
so very unfortunate is that the earthly branches of these 2 personality is not in the same team. So in the Chinese zodiac sign itself, it's either we are best friends, we're in the same team, or we are not.
Or we're complement.
Yes, or we are probably mediocre friends. You know, so Angelina Jolie and Brad Pitt, they are in this zone, which is mediocre, like, okay, we complement each other, but we're still not the perfect match. So, and another thing to note is that they are both yin personality. So Angelina Jolie, you know, she's actually a yin matter with a lot of fire in her chart. You know, so she will be a little bit colder, you know, executor, you know. So Brad Pitt is yin wood with a lot of earth. So in a way that they are two opposite personality, you know, so when two opposite personality comes together, okay, opposite attracts. So that's why this explains why they're together. However, when you put them to test, this is where can you go through this hardship together? Can you go through the bad years together? It would depend on, are you good friends together? So when the zodiac sign is not in the same team, it doesn't gel. In the long run, we're just literally waiting for divorce. Yeah, just like Kim Kardashian and Kanye West. Yeah, so they are not in the same team as well, you know. But what is pulling them together is both of them are fire element. So Kanye West is the young fire, which is the sun, and Kim Kardashian, you know, beautiful, is a yin fire.
So we are in the same team through the fire.
Right, so they are actually same fire, but the zodiac sign, they are not the best friends. They are in the mediocre zone. And this is where the Chinese zodiac sign, the animal sign, comes into action. In the Chinese astrology, we have got a formula and a principle to group them together. So for example, tiger, horse and dog, they are best friends. So these three elements, when they come together, they emulate out fire energy. So this is one of the team. Another team, which are good friends, are the water category, which is monkey, rat and dragon. You know, so when all this comes together, you know, they create things and move forward. So there's another team of friends, which is another tribe, fantastic. You know, it's the wood tribe. Pig itself, rabbit and goat. We have got another one which forms metal. Snake, rooster and cow.
What would be like the sign that will really clash together?
And then from these four teams is actually divided into another 6 teams of clash. Tiger clash with monkey. So rabbit would clash with rooster. Dragon would clash with a dog. Snake would clash with pig. And then horse would clash with rat. Monkey clash with tiger again. So the whole thing comes back again. So why it clash? Let's say we just take a simple example. So why tiger and monkey clash? You know, like there seems to be one is on a tree, one is like roaming on the ground, you know, like why? You know, but in the Chinese astrology, tiger is a young wood and monkey is a young matter. So what does matter? It chop it down. So it depends on, like, you know, what kind of signs we are, and we need to find out who are your friends and who are your enemies. So to make our life, you know, more, you know, harmonious and more productive.
But when you know your enemies, you can work around it when you're conscious about it.
Exactly. So the beauty of Batzi is once we know the differences, or that means you can see things in a different perspective. I see things in a different perspective. When two things come together, when we can merge together, we are all-rounder, you know, and then we can propel things to make it even better.
So that means you can advise also how to put people together in a company to have like the 5 elements working together.
So like whatever that we don't have, we can use the people to supplement us, the colors of our clothes and the perfume, you know, the directions that we are heading to, where is our house located, they all have encompassed a certain element inside them.